Good morning. This is Gaming Perspectives with
Saul
and Jolene. And today we're talking about total party kills.
How to do well.
Or not do them at all.
Whatever. Yes. So I think anybody who's listened to me or this podcast for any length of time knows that I really haven't been involved in too many party kills as a GM or as a player. In fact, the first time I've ever been involved in a total party kill was as a player was this summer. We played 3rd edition Gamma World.
Gamma World, anyway.
Yeah, it was 3rd edition. Straight 3rd edition, just the way Gary Gygax or whoever invented it.
It wasn't Gary
wrote
Gygax.
Well, it was TSR. And it was I don't even know where it was in the adventure. It was a module from the book. And our friend Philip was running it. But we all died. All our characters died in this interesting battle. I mean, it wasn't like an epic battle. It was a tough one, and we were the loser of the battle. I was the first one to die, and I'm like thinking, you guys should get the hell out of here because that thing just took me down pretty quick. But they were giving it the college try, and they failed. Which got me thinking about total party kills in this instance because I'm not really... Okay, so because I have such lack of experience, and I don't think I have a skewed view of total party kills. I always thought they were negative. They were negative for a number of reasons. I mean, it could be a number of reasons why I thought they were negative. I thought the GM was usually vindictive when they did it. I hardly ever blamed the players because I always thought the GM was totally in control of the game. I mean, this is like when I was really younger. Or first playing role-playing games. And it's true. I mean, back then, the GM had a lot of control over the game.
Just to be clear, the GM still has a lot of control over the game.
But, okay, you're right.
The perception might just be different these days.
And there's a perception that the GM shouldn't have so much iron grip control over the game, right? That the players should have some say in at least what their characters' impact on the game is, right? Narrative control. That
I totally agree.
That didn't exist when I was younger, and probably didn't. For me and my group, and that doesn't exist until maybe I would say the last few years that new games have been coming out, and two, I become aware of it, and I've thought about it and I think how it could be a positive impact on the game at the table and have positive impact on everybody's fun. Instead of me being dictatorial.
You're talking about narrative control and not total party kills right now, right?
Right.
Okay, just checking.
Yes. When I hear about total party kills, to me, when I was younger, before 10 years ago, total party kills was always like,
how could the GM do that to him?
And the GM did do it to him, right? It was this guy called...
It's all his fault.
It was Philip was telling me about Randy, how he would kill the whole party in almost every game, right?
Okay, Randy might subscribe to chaos theory. Okay, I'm just saying. I haven't seen him in years, but I recall.
Yeah, and yeah, Randy was a very chaotic player, and he was a kind of a chaotic guy. I mean,
well,
in real life.
I got to tell you, some of the guys that Saul played with, not his core group that he played with, like Felipe and Jim and Philip and those people, and Mike, but some of their other friends that I've met,
peripheral,
like Esteban.
Yeah.
He was a just wake me up when the fighting begins kind of guy.
Right.
And some of the other guys were just, let's just kill them all
and
take as much stuff as we can.
Yes.
Now, I've met these people before. There's that kind of style, right?
Correct.
So I could see him being okay, you've played long enough. You're dead.
Well, I mean, he would kill you in the game, but as when you're the GM, you can do anything. Blue Dragon goes by. Okay. Make your saving throw. Oh, you died. Oh, you died. Oh, it's a negative 20 roll to your saving throw because he's an ancient red dragon or ancient blue dragon.
And you have to get a 62 to succeed.
No way you can do that. But so to me, because of those stories, specifically about Randy, but other people would do them too. Other people would have.
Oh yeah, I've heard stories about total party kills all the time.
Right.
And when I've heard GMs talk about it, be they older or younger, I've heard them say things like, well, yeah, they deserved it. things like that. So,
Okay,
so
who's
I
the
could
the
see,
GM saying that about the players?
yeah, I could see Saul's perspective on that one when I've heard that.
So, and that has been my opinion for quite a long time. I mean, since I started playing 78 when I was 11. So I probably formed that opinion about a good 3 years after that. And for 20, 30 years after that, that's been my opinion. And only lately have I even entertained the idea that a total party kill could be okay or in a certain instances. So to me, I've come out with this theory of the total party kill either being good, bad, or ugly. So
That's a reference to a movie for people who haven't seen it.
I'm sure a lot of people know what reference that is.
So you've talked about the bad, right?
Well, I'm gonna just reiterate the bad, right? So to me, the GM, this is the bad. The GM was thinking was too hard on the PCs. That's the bad. Like when they overestimate the. Let's talk about D&D, right? If you're running D&D, you make the
monsters.
monsters too tough, and you don't really give the players the PCs an out in like really running away or having an escape route, or if the monster's really too tough and the players aren't up to defeating it, and you don't allow or there's no way for the characters to escape, that's just a bad
bad
judgment.
plan.
A bad plan. That's the ugly. I mean, that's the bad. Or the PC sometimes makes dumb maneuvers, right? They plan things and they stick to the plan. They stick to the plan even though the plan
has fallen apart.
Yes,
and we need to hightail it out of here.
Yes, and they'll decide to hightail it out there, right? So that can happen. That's bad, also, right? Because I don't think the player.
So you're talking about maybe not. You're not talking about, but when you said that, I thought about the Leroy Jenkins effect, right?
Yes.
So that could be a bad decision, right?
And the bad decision was to follow him because they're like,
well, but see, as a player, as a character player, or you
as a friend,
you want to save the person that ran in. So sometimes you make those bad choices to go for it.
Right, that's a bad, right? So players make a bad decision, or they play really, they don't make wise decisions. I'm gonna say dumb, but I don't like saying dumb, but they don't make the wise decisions. Like everybody else, other than Leroy Jenkins, they shouldn't have gone in there because they were formulating a plan to defeat this thing because that's how it worked in that game. I think it was WoW, wasn't it? And then Leroy Jenkins goes in and messes up, and they're like, oh, and so they go in haphazard. And what happens? They all get slaughtered, right? So yeah, that's a bad. That's the bad. Definitely a bad. Oh, I forgot to say the good. Uh-oh. So the good is like when it's a good part of the story, right? I haven't really dealt with this too much.
I don't know where he's going with the good because it's a total party kill. That means everybody dies. So right. I'm not sure how that's good in any way possible as a character player.
Okay.
Unless you're saving the world, I suppose.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If the sacrifice of the party saves the world or saves the town or whatever the situation, that is a good part of the story. And that's where heroes, or what is it? It's not heroes. That's where legends are made, right? First they're heroes, but when they die saving the earth, the universe, the town, that's when they become legends. When you finish reading that book and turn the page and it says the end, you're like, wow, that was a cool story. That was a cool experience, right?
Well, not me. I would say they should have come up with a better plan.
But to me, as long as you have that, as long as it makes sense and it's a good element to the story, a total party kill could, like, let's say Call of Cthulhu, right? Call of Cthulhu.
You have to sacrifice your party to save the world. I can see that one.
Right.
Anyway, besides Call of Cthulhu, which, Call of Cthulhu.
It could happen in D&D.
Matter. So I could see, like, if you're playing a campaign or a game, and you give these hints that the only way to do it is all of the things are coming to this pinnacle point where the characters have to make that choice. And It's going to be a moral choice, people. Whether you're going to go, okay, we are going to save the world, or, you all go, I'll push the button. That kind of thing.
But that's not a total party kill.
I know, but what I'm saying is that would be what the players would be thinking.
Well, I agree with you. There's that too. Along with total party kill with me is the idea of character death, right? To me, character death, I never wanted that as a player, and because of that, when I ran games, death was not off the table, but it was really hard for me to kill players as a GM because I always equated death with not having fun in playing games. So
yeah, it kind of kills the moment.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story though about and I know what he's talking about, the character death, because when we were playing in one of our games that Saul was running for our local group of people, one of the guys told him, and I remember hearing this conversation, that he was thinking about, he didn't know where else to take this character, so he was thinking about making a new character. And so in the back of my mind, I had that somewhere in the back of my mind.
Oh yeah.
And we're sitting at the gaming table, right? And we're in this airship, and this guy jumps out, and
the player character.
Well, obviously because
you said this guy. I don't know. You were being attacked too.
Yes, we were being attacked, and he jumps out and he takes a couple of the people with him, and he goes to the ground. And I just remember my friend Kathy, and she's all, "We have to go back and get him. He has to be okay." And my friend Chris going, "Well, if he's dead, we can resurrect him." And I'm like going, and I go, and I'm thinking in my brain, my brain went click. There's this guy in the cargo hold is a prisoner. And I remember Jason saying he didn't know what else to do with this character. So I'm like, oh, I see I put this 2 and 2 together, right? In my brain, where two other people at the table are going, "What do you mean, Saul?" Saul's all, "No, he's all flattened out at the bottom. There's no way that you're going to."
Well, the funny thing was is that he did indeed approach me. But what had happened was the new book came out, and he really wanted to play the cat dude or rabbit. I don't know what they are.
It's a cat, right?
It's a cat, yeah. And he really wanted to play that kind of character. And I go, okay. So then he goes, I go. So what do you want to do with your character? And he goes, well, I don't know. What do you think you want to do? I go, I don't know. Let's make it dramatic. He goes, okay. So they were on an airship, and they were like way high. It wasn't like 50 feet.
Being attacked by flying creatures, right?
And one of them had a bomb.
Yes, I remember that.
That's what it was. Yeah. And he was coming aboard, and he was just going to blow up the ship. He was going to sacrifice himself. What's his name? Jason hugs him and jumps off the thing and hugs his wings so he can't fly. So they both go down, and not only do they hit the ground, but they explode. Right, because then you hear this big explosion underneath the ship, and
the looks on other than the people who realized what was happening, which were probably
everybody but
Kathy and Chris, because the boys are going, okay, he sacrificed himself to save us, right? And Kathy's going, we have to be able to save him.
that was great, and I was hoping to get that response from everybody at the table. But Jason had told Steve and the boys that he wanted to get rid of his character, or didn't want to play that character anymore. So they knew something was up, right? And I would have rather have him not tell anybody and have that experience, right? But they still tried, right? They still landed the airship because not only was it Kathy, but it was Chris.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we can find his body. I go, he exploded.
And Chris is going, and we can find his body and we can resurrect him.
I go, there's nothing left of the body. One, you're spread out between
And they were so upset about it, both of them, and I was sitting back going, because I put 2 and 2 together because I heard a piece of a conversation and I got these things, but I can see that player death can be very traumatic, but it can also be he was saving the party, right?
Right, he did.
So then you can put that into a total party kill where you have to have 4 people pressing 4 different buttons to be able to do so. Yeah, that kind of thing, right?
I hadn't thought about that, but exactly that kind of sacrifice. And let's say there was somebody really important on that ship, other than the player characters, like the king of whatever, some malevolent kings. And so when you do that kind of sacrifice and the game ends and you save this person, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat. I think
I don't
a
know
lot of
about
books.
cool, but I can understand it because I don't really want to lose my character, especially in a D&D game. You invest a lot of time into these things.
Well, that's me in almost when I was growing up, right? I remember when my brother killed off one of my characters with a ray of death. God damn it! And back then it was AD&D, save or die, right? It was and you had to make a saving throw, and it was a simple
So I'll never like that, so I never had to deal with it.
right. So exactly. So, but I might have made me a little bit too easy on the players. I don't know. That's what I mean by good in a total party kill. Though we were just talking about one PC dying.
Yeah.
That's pretty traumatic for one person, but a whole party usually can be very traumatic for everybody. But if it's done well and it's makes a good story, then I think it could be good. I think it could be a good ending to a campaign. It could be a good ending to a scenario, a one shot, or whatever. But the players have to buy into that whole idea. Now, if you got four players that are absolutely in love with their character, they don't want nothing happening to the character.
Their character has a house and they have all their stuff there,
Whatever.
and they're out
Yeah.
adventuring. And
If they're really attached to it, this idea of a total party kill will probably kill your gaming group.
Yes.
because they'll be pissed, and that's fine. I understand that. I've been there. I've been there in playing a game where I don't want my character to die. Unless I do something really stupid like climb into the dragon's mouth. Okay, jump.
I want to punch him in the nose.
Yes, that stuff. But as long as I'm playing smart and not, as I don't know, risk assessment or all this bull crap, but I don't want my character death to be decided by one die roll or something like that. That would suck. Now, bad decisions, or I weigh the options and the odds are iffy, 50-50.
I'm just telling you, with our party of D&D characters that are like 10th or 11th level,
Yeah.
if Leroy Jenkins goes running into the cave, everybody's gonna follow him, and we're probably not gonna die. I'm just that's just the way that it
D&D
usually
though.
goes, right? That's D&D.
You're right.
You said the good, the bad. What's the ugly?
The ugly is just a vindictive
Okay.
GM
So you
like
did say
Randy
the ugly.
killing people, and that I didn't get to. You're right. I didn't get to the ugly. That's just the worst part of it. That's when there's a GM that's vindictive and wants, for whatever reason, sometimes they're just jerks and they know that you're attached to your character, and or the people are the party's doing well, and they're like, oh, they got too much money. I want to change the campaign. I want to stop playing this game, so they just kill the party.
When they could just say, I'd like to play a different campaign
Right.
now. Everybody roll up new characters, or
Right.
this is what I want to do. But that comes back to the old idea of the GMs, early GMs, right? That the adversarial GM, right? That's
Right.
basically what you're talking about. This guy he's always been against your party, and he doesn't like what you did or
Well-
whatever, that kind of thing, right? That's what people think about when they go, oh, the GM this is an ugly thing. He's just killed everybody because he's mad at us.
Well, that's right. I mean, just because there's a vindictive. I mean, like, I've never killed off a party because I ended a campaign. Like, in fact, I've ended 2 campaigns with no really solid ending. I mean, they finished a big campaign that I had.
And then we
for
just
them.
rolled up new characters and started all over again.
And well, it happened 3 times. I think it's happened like at least 4 times with me. I mean, let me see. The first campaign that I did with the boys, the big boys. The second one I did with the big boys, and they all reached 10th level and stopped. And then I started running Steve and the little boys, my son and his friends, once where they were still playing Pathfinder, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys did this to save the king, and then I think I started another campaign after that.
Yeah, the giant one.
Yeah, the Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah.
So that's 4 campaigns. They ended, and
Saul doesn't really like to run characters after they hit 10th level. He says it's too hard for him.
it's too hard. The number crunching for me, and in D&D, it's really difficult to. I don't know how to say to kill the characters, but it's really difficult to even put them down. It's also very difficult to kill them. Not that I'm a adversarial GM and want to kill characters, but sometimes I do.
Well, it's harder to come up with the scenarios to make the game fun. The monsters have to be really, really strong. And when you're coming up against really, really strong monsters, there's always a chance you're going to die, right? But
Right.
which makes it fun for the high level characters. But you also have to come up with a plot and a reason why these high level characters are running around.
Exactly.
Which Saul has a hard time with.
Right. If I were to, all I gotta do is do a little bit of research and see how people run high level games and how, and I already know that theoretically the idea is that you can't have one adversary against a whole group of people because it has to do with the action economy and all this crap. Which well, we should do a podcast on the action economy. But basically, the players have more actions than you as a single, no matter how powerful they are, and will quickly wear down a single opponent. There you go. But I've never ended the campaign in a total party kill just to kill the campaign. I just ended the game. I'm like, okay, you guys can keep your characters, but we're gonna start a new campaign, and I don't have no problem with that. Ending a game or having a total party kill, when is it acceptable for me? I think there's certain games that is totally acceptable, and for a while there was those games I would never come close to playing. One of them was COC or Call of Cthulhu. I would not play a single Call of Cthulhu game. I remember back, I don't know when it was, we were at KublaCon early when Augustine was still tiny. And I was up really late, and they were like, "These people were playing Call of Cthulhu," and they go, "Oh, you want to play Call of Cthulhu?" I go, "Sure." So I started playing this game, and I think I only played for 2 or 3 hours, and then nothing bad happened. Everyone was really tired because it was really late, and I think we were solving something. We solved a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Everybody lost a little bit of sanity, and then the game ended because everybody was tired. I go, "Oh, it's not bad, It was an interesting system." And then, but Morgan and Shannon, a group of friends of mine who really loves Call of Cthulhu. They're always pushing the game on me. And so I played a few Call of Cthulhu games. And once I understood that character death is not a big deal, had no problem playing those games. And I can understand having a total party kill in that game, in those kind of games, because it makes sense.
Well, and it's basically a horror game, Call of Cthulhu, because literally you go insane from the horror that you see. But I went into playing Call of Cthulhu. Shannon was always telling Saul, it's not like D&D.
Yeah, forever. I know it's not like
He still
D&D.
tells him that. But
yes, I know. It's not like D&D, Shannon. Thank you very much.
But I had fun with it because, one, Shannon told me the book. I got a PDF to go through by myself. I forget what it is. It's a single adventure to kind of teach you the rules.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a choose your own adventure kind of game, right?
Right.
Where there was no way I was going to die no matter what I did. It was either die quickly or die slowly. So so when I started playing the game with him, I realized this was what I was getting into. But it was kind of interesting to watch Saul go insane in our first game that I played of Call of Cthulhu. And because he was insane, and he thought he wasn't insane, though. He thought he was doing everything that he thought was right. And I'm like, that's not right. But I ended up insane in that game anyway, so.
I think I died in that game.
Yes, you did. You sacrificed yourself to save the world.
There you go. See, so I'm doing something right. And I have no problem doing that. And like I said, I think.
But that wasn't a total party kill. That was just a.
Me kill?
Yeah.
Well, you were out of it.
I went insane. I just had.
I think you're the only one that lived.
No, I might have. No, I don't think so. I think somebody else lived.
No, I don't remember. But it was almost a total party kill.
Yeah.
Other situations, like maybe a military campaign, we were just talking about Twilight 2000 not too long ago, and how maybe you send this crack team in there, and it's a suicide mission, right? The Dirty Dozen or something like that, where Gimli, right? He says, I forget, impossible odds, low chance of success.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right, exactly. So that could have been, for example, the end of the Lord of the Rings, where they send the last remaining parts of the army or the people they still have fighting men, and they go confront Sauron at the Black Gate, right?
And Gollum doesn't take the ring and jump into the fire, then they all die.
Well, I mean, they were ready to sacrifice themselves to give Frodo a little bit of extra time.
They didn't know that Frodo was totally insane at the time, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter about that. But if it took Gollum a little longer to fall into the lava, and they could have been slaughtered, right?
Well, yeah.
But they would have won because Frodo would have killed Sauron or got rid of the ring, right?
Okay.
I'm just saying it could have happened. It could have went either way.
Actually, I have to tell you, Frodo wouldn't have got rid of the ring. It was Gollum.
I said Gollum. If Gollum would have taken a little bit longer to fall into the lava,
go.
Instead of dancing.
So when Saul gave me this topic, I did some research on it, and it was hilarious because I went on to Reddit and
That's a dangerous place, Fred.
and I was like, I'm all okay. I put in when is a good time to do a total party kill, and the answers were just totally hilarious to me. The biggest answer was because the player characters do stupid things, and sooner or later they're going to get themselves killed because they keep doing stupid things. Which I'm like, so then Saul and I had this discussion. Well, one, we don't usually use the word stupid, but it was literally that's what they said. So, stupid player behavior. And I'm like going, I don't understand how, unless, there's the Leroy Jenkins thing.
Yeah,
I get that.
It would have to be really, yeah.
But then I've also been in campaigns where one person at the table doesn't want to do anything until we've hashed it out, till it's dead on the floor, and then he just wants to turn around and walk away because he doesn't want to die. So there's, extremes, right? But stupid player behavior doesn't make sense to me. Like, so the characters, I don't know what they make all the wrong choices, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? They all go, there's ways to go, and they choose their own way walking into the.
I honestly, you're right. We had this discussion, and I've never come across dumb players or players doing really stupid things. Now, for the most part, the only time I don't know who it was, and I don't even remember what game it was. I can't even tell you when it was, but I remember somebody playing really chaotically, right? And kind of upsetting the rest of the players. And I don't remember what game it was. But I think it's because they were bored and they didn't want to play anymore. And I think that's what it was. And I mean, I don't even know if I was running the game. I might not have been running the game. I might have been a player. I honestly don't think I was running the game. So I was playing the game, and the only thing that came to me was, why is this guy acting this way? Why is he playing this way? And I thought, oh. And I could see, just the body language to me, I go, this guy's just bored. So at the break, I don't know if he came back or not, but it was weird because I don't remember. I just remember that's the impression I got from this guy, is that he was doing.
This is not the game I want to be in.
I don't even know. He was just bored or upset or something, and it had nothing to do with the game. It had nothing to do with everybody else at the table. It was just that person, and it was a guy. I remember it was a dude, and he was just like. He was just being a pest, and then I'm like, and I just was thinking, why? I didn't say nothing to the guy. I was just like, what is going on here? Because I always try to. I'm a little bit more curious. I'm like, well, why do people do the things they do? And I'm like, I'm not. And in the game, I asked him as a character, I go, hey, why are you doing this? Like he was stealing from the characters and stuff. I'm like, hey, we're gonna find out that you did it as a player. I told you, and some people are not gonna like that. He goes, I'll take my chances. Okay. And that's all I said to him. And I'm like, okay. And the way he said that, I'm like, oh, this guy don't give a crap. So I think he was bored or whatever it was. And that's the only time I ever seen somebody do dumb things in the game. But I have never come across a whole party of people that did dumb things.
The only thing I could come up with is like, some people play their character. They really get into the actual role playing of, this is my character. My character has a limp. So as they're playing, you can literally see that they're putting all their time and energy into playing the character the way that it's written,
right?
Or the way that they see it as.
In their head, yeah.
And sometimes the character isn't metagaming, right? They are metagaming. Oh, my character would do this,
right?
And if I could see that. If they have a really low intelligence or wisdom, then they might make bad choices.
Yes. I've seen people do that. Not make the best choice, or suboptimal choice, or just the wrong choice, and people go, "Why are you doing that?" You go, "Well, my intelligence is 10 or 8."
It's my 9. Dump stat.
Yeah, and they role play that, right? Or they just rolled it. It wasn't a dump stat, and I can see that. I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
Actually, someone who put as a dump stat wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
that would be a mini maxer.
Because a mini maxer wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. My input. My wisdom is 8. Yeah. But he's still trying to crack the computer code.
Yes. So I don't know about total party kills, but if your players are making the wrong choices and I guess that I don't know if that would make you an ugly GM if you killed them all, or if that would make you just the bad because the players are making the wrong choices.
Right. I think in the end, you're right. I think our idea is TPKs are not terrible if they happen, but there has to be several good reasons for them to happen. I think I wrote down 3 things. 1, all players should know that TPKs are on the table, as Shannon says, right? Now, Shannon is always saying, death is on the table, guys. And that means...
that he says that, I believe, specifically for Saul, so that Saul won't get upset if he dies.
I don't know why he gets that idea, but I'm not going to get upset if I die. But having the table, the players know that if they make bad decisions, the DM is not going to bend over backwards.
And also like the rules aren't going to be fudged.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
No, it doesn't matter if you roll really good, but if the other guys roll and you're going to take 82 damage and you only have 13 points of hit points or whatever you want to call them,
right,
then you're going to die.
Right.
And he just wants you to know that.
Right.
That might not be a total party kill, but it could be.
Correct. Next, shouldn't happen to punish the players. The GM thinks it would be funny or is mad. That's a terrible reason to have total party kill.
So if that ever happens to you, you might want to find a different GM or you take up the GM and let that person play for a while so he can calm down.
And then 3, makes sense in the story that you are telling.
Yeah, because you don't want to be just walking into a room and, oh, you're all dead.
Right.
We were listening to one time we were at a Comic-Con and Luke Gygax was running the Chamber of Horrors, I think it was.
Tomb of Horrors.
Tomb of Horrors. And it was hilarious because all the players knew that there was little chance of success and half the party died inside because they got stuck behind a
trap.
A trap wall came down and there was no way for them to get out.
Right.
So they were just going to die.
Right.
So that isn't necessarily that's an old style, right?
Yes. It was a Tomb of Horrors. I think it was like I think it was a personal challenge by Gary Gygax he took it as a personal challenge to make a very killer dungeon.
Right.
And people had to figure things out. To get through the Tomb of Horrors, you had to be really smart, really logical. There's all kinds of puzzles in that.
And I think he also made it so you would probably play it more than once because there are traps in there. You step on the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
You do the wrong thing.
So then, the party's going to try it again. Right? Because the goal is to get through it, but that just means that you might have to try it several times.
Well, he made it as a tournament adventure for D&D,
yeah.
for Origins or something like that, or Gen Con. I forget what it was.
And that could be where the whole idea of the total party kill comes from, right?
Correct. It was early. It was stuff that did happen.
Yeah.
Early original D&D when you rolled, you roll a 6-sided dice for your hit points, and if you roll a 1, that's what you have.
Yeah.
And you get hit by a dagger or arrow, boom, you're dead. Okay. There was no negatives. There's no nothing. You hit 0, you're dead. And at first level, second level, third level, you don't have enough money for
That's why the sorcerer stands behind the wall when they're at first level.
There was no first level. But yeah. I think 2PKs can be okay and actually can be done really well. But for the most part, I think
Shannon is right that you should make sure that the players know death is on the table.
Right.
Because that's the hardest part about a total party kill is you want to make sure that all the players aren't going to stand up and, I hate you and I'm never playing with you again, right? That kind of thing.
Unless, you really don't want to play with those people again, right?
Okay, there you go. So these are just some of the ideas about total party kills, so.
Yeah, I thought we should do an episode on it because we danced around this subject a little bit. We talked about it, but I thought we could devote a whole episode to it. I think it does deserve some thought as far as in your game.
Well, it might give you insight into what happened years ago to you. Oh, right. That's why we all died.
Well, just 6 months ago.
Or yesterday. I don't know. So this is Gaming Perspectives with
Saul
and Jolene.
You have a good day.